Welcome to the Worshipped Woman podcast. I am your host, kellykristin. I am a life and relationship coach, deep healing facilitator, and subconscious change expert. On this podcast, we will dive deep into personal growth, transformation, and relationships, releasing patterns of toxicity, codependency, and people-pleasing as we explore what it means to be the worshipped woman. If you are ready to heal, embody your worth, and raise your standards in life and love, you are in the right place. I am so happy to have you here. Now, let's get started. Hello, sisters. Welcome back to the Worshipped Woman podcast. I am so happy that you are here. Thank you for tuning in. There is so many exciting things happening within the Worshipped Woman world. I do want to let you know that I have officially gotten on Clubhouse. If you are not on Clubhouse yet, I'm so excited for this because I love doing the podcast and I love creating content, and I would love to be able to interact with you more. So because of this, I decided to create my very own club on Clubhouse, also called The Worshipped Woman. So if you are on Clubhouse, I think that you can just search it and request it. To be honest, I am still getting my self grounded into all of the Clubhouse operations and everything that goes along with it. And I literally just started it right before I pressed record on this. So it is brand new in its infancy, but the plan is to do Worshipped Woman Wednesdays every Wednesday on Clubhouse. And I will have different guests and we'll have a broad range of topics. But I just think it would be a really cool way for you all listening on the podcast to be able to interact, get your questions answered, be able to speak to different people. And it's just a really, really cool platform that I am digging and finding my way around. So if you're not on there and you have an iPhone and you need an invite, I have some invites since I started the club, and I can actually invite you in. Just DM me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Miss MS Kelly Kristin, but you do have to have an iPhone right now. Sorry, Android users, they'll get to you eventually, but right now it is iPhone only. That's number one that I wanted to talk about. Number two is Heal, Rise, Thrive is going to be opening soon. If you are a woman that has been struggling with toxic relationships, maybe you keep finding yourself in them, or you had a really bad one and you're like, oh God, I just want to feel okay again. I want to feel like myself again. I want to feel happy, joyful, alive. And you want to find a deep sense of love and peace within yourself. Heal, Rise, Thrive is a place for you. Now, I'm mentioning this here because it's going to be opening full on publicly next week. This week is for waitlist people only. If you are on the waitlist, you are getting a super special offer that is only happening for waitlist people. So if you know you're like kind of interested in it and you want to know more, I'm going to link it in the show notes here. There's a video that explains to you the program. If you're like, yes, this is me, go ahead and sign up on the waitlist. If for some reason you can't find that, of course, you can DM me. But I do want to let you know that it is going to be officially opening to the public next week. This week is the very last week that you can get on the waitlist and get the super special waitlist offer. And that is a limited space program. It's a group coaching program. It's not hundreds of people. It's not do it on your own time. It is really, really a fully supported healing container filled with love and growth and just so much goodness. So if that speaks to you, either link in the show notes or of course, DM me. And today I'm excited to talk about this because sometimes I think that I say things and people take them a certain way, which is not how I intend them. But people can become a little offended in my world because I believe that things can be healed. And I believe maybe a lot of things that are not super commonplace, and that's fine. And it's also fine that people don't totally align with that. That's cool. But I want to talk about something that I say and write about kind of often, and I tend to get a lot of pushback on this, and I want you to really understand where I'm coming from and how this is just the truth. It's not even like an opinion. This is just what happens. So maybe you have heard before, like maybe you've heard me say, like, until you are enough for you, you're never going to be enough for somebody else. Or until you can accept and love yourself, you're not going to be able to accept love from another person. Now, I want to talk about this because in a way, when I say things like that, or if I write things like that, they are sort of just to grab your attention. Like, I'm not in any way saying that you are not enough or you are not lovable as you are. Those things are not true. But the point is that those things are true. You, of course, are enough. You, of course, are lovable. The problem is that if you don't believe that for yourself, it's not that other people won't love you, or it's not that other people won't value you. It's not that other people won't think you're amazing and you're great. It's that you are so convinced that you are not lovable, that you are not enough, that you are not great, that your mind will actually look for ways to prove that instead. So this is an important distinction because, again, it is not the truth that you are not worthy, that you are not lovable. That is never, ever the truth. That is not even a true thing. These are literally things that we make up because we have things that go in our life. We have situations, we have experiences. We make them mean something about ourselves because as humans, that's what we do. We have brains, and our brains are constantly telling us things and giving us thoughts and forming beliefs. So we form these beliefs that say, I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough as I am, I'm not lovable as I am. And we say these things to ourselves so much, and we have proof from previous experience in our life that that's the truth. Now, of course, that's not the truth. However, if in your subconscious identity, if in your subconscious belief system, that is what is running all of the time, and your thoughts are centered around, I'm not good enough as I am, I'm not lovable as I am, I'm not this or I'm not that, and that's what you're constantly thinking and feeling and believing about yourself, you continue to see that in your life. The reason for that is because you cannot act outside of the perception that you have for yourself. And the perception that you have for yourself is mostly subconscious. And this is really major stuff because it's really dictating and running your life. You understand? It's not that people won't love you, but you'll be so concerned that you aren't lovable as you are that you'll miss the love that's there. You'll be so concerned that you aren't good enough as you are that you'll miss the people that really value you because your belief system is trying to validate what you believe about yourself. So the thing about your subconscious mind is that it's never going to make you wrong. Your subconscious mind wants to be right. So whatever you tell it, whatever you believe, your subconscious is actually always looking for proof in your environment, in your relationships, in how you interact with the world. It's always looking for proof that that thing is true. So if your inner belief system is, I am not good enough, or I am not enough as I am, or I'm not worthy of this thing or that thing, if that's your internal belief system, then you will actually subconsciously seek out partners, situations, jobs, whatever it is that validate that identity, because your subconscious is like, yeah, well, that's what you believe. That's what you want. So we want to make sure that you're right. If you can imagine that your subconscious mind is maybe like, a bunch of worker bees working for the queen bee, and the queen bee is you, and your subconscious mind is all of these worker bees, and queen bee is saying, I am not lovable as I am. Your little workers are like, let me go search for that. Let me go search for that. Let me go search for that. Let me validate that belief. Let me let her know she's right. So this is why I say things like, until you are enough for you, you're never going to be enough for somebody else. Because it has nothing to do with the other person at all. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It solely has to do with you and what you believe about yourself, right? Why people can only love and accept you to the level of love and acceptance you have within yourself is because you will just reject it, right? If you don't work on your internal belief system, and let's say you're a woman who's been through the ringer with relationships and you're like, you know what? I know what I want. I want love. This is what I deserve. This is the kind of love that I deserve. This is what I'm going to get to have. And you find somebody that fulfills that and you think is that idea, you're going to be very uncomfortable in that situation. You're probably going to sabotage that situation because you will be so convinced that you aren't lovable or that you aren't enough, that you miss what's actually available to you. And so the magic about doing subconscious change work, the magic about working on these beliefs and really releasing them from the root of where they are and reprogramming in the actual truth, is that you are able to see what's actually always been there. It's not that these things weren't there. It's just that they were not available to you because you could not see from that perception. So much of our life and what we experience is based on how we see reality, how we perceive the world, our perception of things. And our perception of things, again, are based off of what we believe is possible for us, who we believe we are, and these things are largely subconscious, and you're not going to operate outside of the image that you have for yourself. Okay, so in a way, and you might have heard me say this before, is that beliefs really are a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see and experience what you believe. That is so important. People say things like, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. No. You are going to see what it is that you believe because your mind, your subconscious, those little worker bees are looking for proof that that's true, right? This is a big reason. These subconscious beliefs, this subconscious image that you have of yourself, your identity, this is a huge reason why we tend to repeat patterns of toxic relationships where it's like that same kind of situation, just a new person with a new face, but here we go again with all of the same issues. Because these things were learned. Right? Your subconscious identity, your subconscious blueprint, if you will, is formed during childhood. You have to learn what you live. You don't have a choice in that. But the magic is that was learned and it can also be unlearned. You do have a choice in how you move forward. You do have a choice into the woman that you decide to become. It's really about shifting on a cellular level, through your mind, through your body, through your psyche, and literally becoming a new version of you, a new version of you that has new beliefs, a new version of you that has new possibilities that you didn't have before, a new version of you that really, really believes in herself. And this is the sort of work that really reminds you of your personal power. You have experiences that you've been through. You have things that have happened in your life. but they are in the past and they don't have to define the future and they don't have to define who you are. I was in a group the other day and someone was asking, I keep hearing things, people say things like, our subconscious is going to determine who we're attracted to, and we're attracted to wounds and all of these things. And I just feel really badly. I feel, like I have no hope because I had a really messed up childhood and all of these things, right? And I think that sometimes we get that message, right? Like therapists and people that maybe mean really well, they give us a lot of knowledge and they want you to understand where these things come from, but they don't necessarily talk about shifting it. They don't necessarily talk about how powerful you are, that once you become aware of these things, that you have the power to shift your subconscious identity. And I think part of that, part of the issue is that a lot of people are not very highly educated in the subconscious, how it works and how to change it. To me, this is incredibly important because you have a subconscious blueprint and you can rewire your brain to experience new things, to believe new things. Our brains are incredible organs. We're constantly creating new neural networks. If you're not creating new neural networks and you just keep going over the same things over and over and over again, you make those things stronger, right? And if you've been in a place where you've been feeling not enough, not worthy, or not lovable for a really, really long time, that's a very strong connection. It's a very strong connection that you have in your brain, right? Things happen, neurons fire together, they get stuck in this same repeated pattern that affects your body. I mean, there's so many layers to this. And that's why even in Heal, Rise, Thrive, we do subconscious mind work, we do breath work, we do embodiment work, because there's a lot of different layers in how this shows up. It doesn't just show up in your mind, it shows up in your body, right? Beliefs about ourselves show up in our body. They show up when we contract. They show up how we interact with people. But the point is that your subconscious blueprint can shift. Just because you were attracted to terrible people in the past and settled for a lot less than you deserve doesn't mean that that's who you're going to continue to attract at all. We can shift that. What needs to shift is you and your perception of yourself and the perception of what you believe you get to have and experience in life and in love. And this is 100% possible. I do it with my clients. I've done it with myself. I do it in the group program. This is the work that we do, shifting this subconscious blueprint. It is absolutely possible to heal. It is absolutely possible to get to decide the life that you're going to have and create that. People do it all the time. And on the other side of that, people don't do it all the time because they're not willing to do the work that it takes to get there, because it's not comfortable to look at these things within yourself and to have to really do the work to change them and to become a new version of yourself. But I was listening to a wonderful woman talk the other day. Her name is Melanie Ann Layer, and she said, you know what? My grandma used to say to me, hell on earth is not becoming the woman that you were meant to be. And it really hit me that would absolutely be hell on earth. Not stepping into your power, not stepping into the life that your soul actually came here to live, not experiencing the joy, not experiencing the love, the happiness that's available. That's hell on earth. And you don't have to be there. Even if you've spent some time in that place, you can get out and you can really live a life that you love with people that you love and that love you. And it really can be a beautiful life to live. So So that's going to be it for me today. I hope that this spoke to you. I hope that you get it. I hope you understand your power, the sheer power that you have to change your life. And if you want my help in that, you want to join us in Heal, Rise, Thrive, I'm going to put the link in the show notes, or you can DM me at Miss Kellykristin. I love you guys so much, and I'll speak to you soon.